Also in D.C., Hawaii Senator Mazie Hirono gathered experts today to discuss the Trump administration's decision to cut federal funding to hundreds of minority-serving institutions.
And so all students, regardless of their background, deserve access to a quality education. And without this funding, students from diverse backgrounds will lose critical support that they rely on.
In September, the U.S. Department of Education announced that $350 million in federal funding would be redirected from minority-serving colleges and universities. Hirono says the move affects more than 5 million students, including Native Hawaiians and Pacific Islanders.
MSIs have been targeted for merely leveling the playing field and ensuring that equal opportunities are provided to students.
These funds are about providing the basic resources so students can learn, grow, succeed, and contribute to our society and our economy. And eliminating these resources in general and in such an abrupt manner isn't just misaligned and misguided, it's plainly cruel.
Hirono is part of a coalition of 30 Senate Democrats now urging the Department of Education to restore the MSI funding. The Trump administration has argued that eligibility criteria based on student race or ethnicity quotas are unconstitutional.